The typical text that students read, the stories in the passages in their baseline anthologies, have a high number of unique words, that means different words, and many of these words appear a single time. In fact, the percentage is something like about 40% of the words appear a single time. If I'm not a very rapid reader and I spend a lot of time on those words, I don't become very automatic at reading. And what I need to become an automatic reader is to be very quick at responding to the words that appear most frequently in text. And there are about 1,000 words that account for about 67% of the words that you read. And it's those words and words with common word parts, and that might be like the AT in that and cat. It's those patterns and high frequency words like of, the, and also words like country and water that we want kids to become very quick at responding to so that they can have enough cognitive resources, that they can have enough reserves to be able to figure out the rare or more uncommon words. So what fluency is about responding quickly to the words that account for the majority of texts. What we're talking about isn't just kids racing through text. So fluency isn't just silly, fast reading. We want kids to be fluent so that they can be interacting with the text meaningfully. If you're having to figure out the sight words, there's a good chance you don't have enough cognitive resources left to bring meaning to the text. And what fluency is about is being able to think about what you're reading and have the resources to figure out the handful of high content words that are probably unique to a topic or a text. So that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to have kids read the majority of words rapidly so that they can construct a meaning from the text and also figure out the words that are going to be new to a text. But what I do want to emphasize is it's not an either or, and the rate at which you read does make a difference. So if you're reading so slowly because you're figuring out all of the high frequency words, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be making meaning of the text. So there actually have been studies that have shown, for example, in the national assessment, if you didn't read at a basic level of about 125 words a minute in grade 4, it was highly unlikely that you did proficient reading on the silent reading portion of the test. Okay? That doesn't mean that there aren't some kids, especially English language learners, who might not read a little bit more slowly, but I'm just saying substantially slower than that is probably not going to really work. One of the issues that we have right now is that many of the text in the basal anthologies have a high percentage of rare words, words that don't appear frequently in text. They might be very interesting words, but they don't appear frequently, and they only appear one time in a story. So when I'm teaching students sessions to become more fluent, what I want are texts that have higher percentages than usual of high frequency words and words with common word parts. And what I want is, if there are rare words, and I'm not suggesting you don't use texts that aren't content area texts that have interesting information, because we're not just reading here to get silly fast, we're reading to give meaning to text. So what I want is, if the texts have hard words, I want those hard words to be repeated. So when you're developing fluency, what you really want are texts with a very small percentage of words that are unknown. And those words that are unknown, I want to have them repeated. So we call that an independent reading level. So to develop fluency, I want texts that are going to be interesting, but I want them to be at kids' independent reading level.
Now listen to a recording of a developing reader.
How insects move. Most insects have wings, others than birds and bats. Insects are the only animals that can fly. Only animals that can fly. Insects fly at different speed.
Think about your own struggles to read a language you don't know well. Also, think about striving readers you've taught and the techniques you might use to help this student read more fluently. Please pause this DVD and pair share for 1 minute. You've probably listed some strategies you've read about, some you've heard about from other teachers, or some you've used successfully. You may have listed some of the research-proven techniques we'll discuss next.